Hello, everyone. We want to thank everyone for taking the time to join us this evening. We had an unbelievable response to this new promotion, and we are very excited to share it with you tonight. Today, we are here to talk about an amazing investment opportunity with the investor suites at Monde Condominiums. We truly believe this to be one of the best investment projects that we have ever sent out to you guys. Pricing for the investor suites at Monde are the lowest that we have ever been offered at this project, and this is an amazing time to invest at this location at Monde Condos. My name is Sunny Batra from sunnybatra.com, and today I am joined with Roy Bhandari, who is a co-founder of Talk Condos, and he's another platinum agent in downtown Toronto. I'll pass it over to you, Roy.
Thank you, Sunny, and thank you for having me this evening. So here's a quick overview of what we're going to be discussing this evening. First, we're going to introduce Monde Condominiums to you guys and give you a couple of key highlights on the project. Next, we want to highlight why we have access to this exclusive promotion and how we were able to negotiate such an incredible deal for you guys. We're going to take a closer look at the developer of Monde Condominiums, Great Gulf Homes. We're going to take a look at the amazing redevelopment that is happening at East Bayfront, the brand new neighborhood of Monde Condominiums. We're going to spend the bulk of the time talking about the prices, the floor plans, the option and the incentives that we've negotiated today, and how you'll be able to purchase a suite at the sales event on Saturday, November the 1st. Finally, we're going to answer some of your questions, and on the left-hand side you should see a question window pop up. We encourage you to ask your questions throughout the presentation, and we're going to do our best to answer as many of them as we can at the end of the presentation. We expect the presentation to be around half an hour and then around 15 minutes for question and answer. So here's a quick overview of Monde Condominiums. The project, developed by Great Gulf Homes, is going to stand 40 stories with 497 suites. The project is scheduled for occupancy in summer 2018 and is located in the brand new East Bayfront neighborhood, which we're going to discuss in a little bit more detail a little bit later. The project has architecture by one of the best architects on this planet. His name is Moshe Safdie. Moshe Safdie is best known for his work in Singapore with the world-famous Marina Bay Sands Hotel. The hotel is famous for having one of the highest infinity pools on the planet. And Safdie was hired onto this project because of his work and expertise with waterfront high-rises, and you'll see some of that expertise play out a little bit later. Next up, we want to highlight that this is a luxury-level condominium. It has luxurious finishes. It's got 9-foot smooth ceilings. A lot of developers these days are offering 8.5-foot ceilings and 8-foot ceilings in an attempt to bring the prices down. We have these incredible floor-to-ceiling windows. The developers will be using a style of window called curtain wall, which is designed to give true floor-to-ceiling windows with little to no breaks in between. There'll be 5-inch plank wood flooring throughout. Again, most developers offer 2 to 4-inch plank wood flooring. This again highlights the luxury level finishes. And jumping to the kitchen, we have an integrated fridge and dishwasher. We have custom designed cabinets with lots of storage and a very unique kitchen island that doubles as a dining space. So why Monde and why now? So this deal was exclusively negotiated by myself, Roy Bhandari, and Sunny Batra. We went direct to the developer, and we teamed up to go, and because we believe that this is a neighborhood that has enormous potential to become one of the best in the city. And it's important to understand that before a developer can start construction in Toronto, they have to be 75% sold. At the time of writing, Monde is presently around 70% sold. So we were able to go in and negotiate an incredible incentive for our clients for this one day only, where they're offering suites lower than they've ever been offered at Monde Condominiums. And that's something that's very rare in Toronto. In our experience, the two best times for clients to purchase and get the absolute best pricing is to either buy right at the beginning during the Platinum launch or to purchase at specially negotiated pricing such as this in events that we call bulk deals. We get these exclusive pricing because we're taking in bulk clients.
Just want to add, bulk deals are sort of like deals such as Groupon, deals you'll get on Groupon, WagJag, or DealFind, where deals are negotiated for a bulk number of group of people.
Yeah, and when this happens, again, it's a very rare occurrence, but when it happens, we get some of the best pricing that we can ever offer. So we're going to jump in and talk a little bit about the developer. The developer is Great Gulf Homes. Great Gulf Homes are a multi-award winning developer with over 35 years of experience. They've got a portfolio of over 40,000 homes and condominium suites, which, when you average it out, works out to around 1,000 homes per year or more than 3 per day. They've got a huge portfolio of low-rise developments across the GTA and the Niagara region. They have an extensive high-rise portfolio with projects such as the Hudson, Charlie Condominiums, Hot Condominiums in Mississauga, Monde Condominiums, One Bloor Condominiums, One Sherway, Pace, X, X2, Young and Rich, and the list goes on and on. What is particularly interesting about Great Gulf is that they have an amazing reputation of building in neighborhoods before they become very popular. They have this reputation of being pioneers in upcoming neighborhoods, and buyers are really able to take advantage of this. We've got a couple of examples to highlight this. The first one is the Hudson. The Hudson is located at King Spadina and was developed and sold long before this area was popular and became the entertainment district that we know it as today. Today, this area is one of the most popular in the entire city, and the Hudson was really one of the first projects to kind of kickstart that. Buyers who bought in at the Hudson have done exceptionally well, as they bought in an area before it really took off. Another example is Pace Condominiums. Great Gulf Homes were the first developer to kind of kickstart this recent revitalization of Jarvis Street and Church Street on the east side. Since Pace Condominiums launched, a number of developers have followed suit, including Tridel, Menkes, Eastern Group, Center Court, and a number of others. And another example, X Condominiums at Jarvis and Charles Street East. Since they developed this project, they've been joined by Couture with Monarch Developments and X2. They have this quality of being the first in brand new neighborhoods, and they've done it again with Monde Condominiums. And of course, Great Gulf also developed incredible projects in already established neighborhoods with landmark projects such as One Bloor and Young and Rich. Next up, we're going to take some time and look at the location, because this is why we're particularly excited about this project. 3 of the most profitable words in real estate investing are master planned community. Investing early in a master planned community is one of the most tried and trusted ways of real estate investing. It benefits in a couple of different ways. Number one, they get lower pricing. They're investing in a neighborhood before it's popular. When there are multiple condominiums being built, developers will typically increase the prices of the future projects. This is a form of appreciation where the developers are pulling the strings, and it happens all across the city. We call this developer-driven appreciation. It's important to understand that not all master planned communities are created equally. And even in the city of Toronto, there are examples of master planned communities that have been very successful and others that have fallen short. Here are some elements that are required for a successful master plan community. Number one, it has to be mixed use. This, for me, is probably the most important aspect of a successful master plan community. The idea is to turn the urban communities into destinations, and a quick question you can ask is, would a tourist ever visit this neighborhood? A successful master plan community should have a residential element, and in this case, condominiums. It should absolutely have a retail component with shops and grocery stores and restaurants and cafes. You can always get a sense of the direction of a master plan community if the retail plans are outlined ahead of time as opposed to as they go. We think about the Distillery District. This is a neighborhood that had a very distinct and intentional feel right from the beginning. Next up, commercial and employment opportunities. Can this become a work, live, play location? And finally, public space that will bring people into the area that don't already live there. For me, this is one of the most overlooked areas of a master plan community. Again, think of a location such as a Distillery District. Even if you do not live in that neighborhood, there is still a reason to go to that community because of the restaurants and the distinct feeling that you get from that location. The public spaces are a key element that's often overlooked because developers can't necessarily make returns by using up the space for a park or a promenade or any of those things. The next major element for a successful master plan community is funding. This is a major piece of the puzzle. Master plan communities are not developed overnight. They are typically 10 or 15 or 20-year plans, and sometimes even longer. It's important that the funding is secure and the project will deliver. A project like Regent Park and Canary District, for example, were both backed by the City of Toronto, and both for different reasons. The city had vested interest in revitalizing the former ghettos of Regent Park, and Canary District will be playing host to the 2015 Pan Am Games. So they were both neighborhoods that the City of Toronto wanted to succeed. And another element for a successful master plan community is having high quality developers. Again, master plan communities are long term. It's important that the developers working on the buildings, whether the residential or the commercial, are reliable and have a track record. Again, looking at some of the successful master plan communities, you'll notice a pattern of reliable developers. Daniels were the developer behind Regent Park, and Dundee, a multi-billion-dollar company, were the developers behind the Distillery District. What we did, we took a look at some of these master plan communities in Toronto, and we took a look at what elements they had and what elements they lacked, and we put that against the trend of prices in those neighborhoods to see if we could show how this played out. So the first one was Liberty Village. It absolutely has a residential. It has an incredible retail element with bars and shopping. So it has that element really going for it. It does have commercial space. It has limited public space, but there is some there. It had one level of government funding with the City of Toronto, and the key developer there was CanAlpha, who helped get it off the ground. The next one is the Distillery District. Absolutely a residential element. It has a lot of retail. It has a lot of bars and restaurants, and it was developed with that in mind. It does lack on the commercial space, but it does have public space that people come from all over the city to come see. This was a neighborhood that had private funding from two of the wealthiest families in Toronto, the Goodham family and the Ward family. The developer behind this neighborhood was Dundee. And again, we've seen upward trends in both of these neighborhoods. The next one is Canary District, another district, is another one on the east side of Toronto. Incredible residential element, retail element baked right in from the beginning, commercial, and a number of public spaces that are being developed. And this one is backed by two levels of government. The City of Toronto and Ontario are both behind this project, and both have a vested interest in the success of this neighborhood. The trend we currently have is not available because it's still under construction, but it's a project that we do expect to have very good upward trends. Next is Regent Park, another very, very successful master plan community. It has a residential, a retail, limited commercial, does have public space with the 6-acre park in the middle and the aquatic center. They have one level of development funding from the government, and the developer is Daniels, and again, we've seen an upward trend in pricing. Now we go to something like Fort York. They do absolutely have a residential element, but where they lack is a retail component. There's a lack of retail space on the ground floor. It has limited commercial, and outside of the existing Fort York Park, which was already there, there was no additional funding for new public space. The funding was by and large by the developers who built the condominiums, and the key developers there were Plaza and Army, and we've seen more of a flatlining in prices in this neighborhood. And finally, we've got something like City Place, which follows similar patterns as Fort York. It has great residential, but where it lacks is it has limited retail, but where it lacks is commercial and public spaces. It does not draw people into the neighborhood unless you already live there. The funding, again, was by and large by the developer, who is bringing in the residential and the retail, but no outside funding to develop these public spaces. And again, we've seen kind of a flatlining of price in that neighborhood. So next, we want to jump over to the East Bayfront neighborhood, which is where Monde Condominiums is going to be built. So here is a picture of East Bayfront before. It's this slip right at the front of the picture. As you can see, there's not a whole lot happening, but has all the things of a great neighborhood. It's downtown, and it's at the waterfront. When it's all said and done, here is what East Bayfront will look like. We've already talked about the elements that make a great master plan community. So here we have residential elements with Monde Condominiums that you see in the top left of the highlighted square there, the tall building there. In addition, there's going to be buildings by Tridel at the front. When it's all said and done, there's going to be over 6,000 residential suites in this neighborhood. We also highlighted that retail is an important element. And for me, this is one of the most important points about East Bayfront. And from the beginning, it's a requirement that every single building in this little pocket will have some form of ground level retail, which means an entire neighborhood will be very pedestrian friendly. Each retail space must also be double height, which means 18-foot ceilings. They've made that a requirement right from the get-go to attract higher quality retail tenants with big, airy spaces that are going to feel incredible. You're going to get grocery stores and other key staples for the neighborhood, but also restaurants, cafes, boutiques that will attract walkability and attract people from outside the neighborhood to come into the neighborhood. We mentioned commercial spaces. They've already opened the Chorus Entertainment headquarters in George Brown campus, but it's expected that an additional 2.5 million square feet of brand new commercial will come into the neighborhood, which equates to around 8,000 new jobs. Finally, we talked about public space, and this is one area that we feel East Bayfront has really nailed. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars into creating these vibrant and rich public spaces for the entire city to enjoy. First up is Sugar Beach. Sugar Beach is a 2-acre urban beach, and believe it or not, these pictures were taken downtown. Here we see another example with the skyline in the background. This is a great example of the vision of turning a completely dead space into a space that will attract people into the neighborhood. Next up is the amazing new urban parks that are being built for year-round use. Sherbourne Commons, which sits immediately west of Monde Condominiums, stretches all the way to the lake. In the wintertime, the park turns into an ice skating rink, which drew huge crowds this past winter. Imagine having all of this right at your doorstep. For me, the park is a huge deal in this neighborhood. People love to be around nature, and it's why parkside and waterside condominiums around the world are highly sought after, and especially in urban settings. At Monde, you have access to an urban lifestyle, parkside and waterside, so it's pretty remarkable. The other area that's getting a lot of investment is this brand new 1.5-kilometer waterside promenade, and they are not cheaping out on this at all. They're installing brand new cobblestone work in the shape of the maple leaf, these high-end light fixtures and these amazing wave design benches. This is the real deal, and they're putting a huge amount of funds into making sure they get this right. You can see that the intent is to make this entire neighborhood really high-end. Here's a shot looking down showing that work on the cobblestone. In addition to those, there's going to be an intimate park called Aitken Commons in between two of the residential buildings, and off to the side there will be Parliament Slip where you'll be able to dock your boats and your yachts. The next big question that we have to answer is, where is the money coming from? Who's building all these amazing things? The East Bayfront funding is actually coming from 3 levels of government: the federal government, the provincial government, and the municipal government. And it's all being overseen by a company called Waterfront Toronto, whose only job is to make sure they get the revitalization of the waterfront right. Another sign of high quality, a successful master plan community is involving the best developers who have the best track records of success. Back in 2008, Waterfront Toronto had shortlisted a number of developers invited to work on this parcel of land, and they were truly the best of the best. Great Gulf Homes, Daniels, Menkes, Tridel, Citizen, Cadillac Fairview, Hines were some of the developers shortlisted, and any combination of these developers would have been amazing. But ultimately, the developers that won were Great Gulf Homes, Tridel, and Hines. And again, this shows the intent to build quality right from the beginning. And the developers behind this new redevelopment, Great Gulf, Tridel, and Hines, are some of the best that we have in our city. Here is something that we thought was really great. We took a look at what the walk score and transit score of this neighborhood is before any of this revitalization will take place. Here's what we found. The walk score is already 88 out of 100, and that's today. The transit score is already 94 out of 100, and that's today. With all this new stuff going in, and the new approved LRT line, it's hard to imagine this will be anything other than a 100 walk score neighborhood, which is truly amazing. So again, taking this back to our original table where we looked at all the different neighborhoods and what elements they had going into a master plan community. And when we compare this to East Bayfront, we'll see that it has a residential component with 6,000 new homes. It has a retail component where every single building must have double-story retail on ground floor. It has amazing commercial with 2.5 million square feet of office space and 8,000 new jobs. It has some of the best public spaces that we've seen anywhere in the city, with brand new parks, promenades, boat slips. It's got everything you would want. Government funding is coming from 3 levels of government, which shows that this huge amount of interest in getting this neighborhood right. The developers are some of the best that we have in our city, with Great Gulf and Tridel, with decades of experience. So we're excited to see the trend in this neighborhood. We're going to take a look at some of the floor plans and views, and we touched on a little bit earlier that they hired one of the best architects on the planet, and one of the reasons they brought Moshe Safdie in because of his work at the waterfront. So here is a view of the floor plate, and to the left we have an approximate location of where the lake would sit. What's really unique about this building is that it's designed for waterfront living. It's got this wedge-shaped design where it points the units towards the lake. And what that design does, it creates a number of very, very unique corner aspects to every single suite. How that plays out in a floor plan is here you'll see a unit that faces east. Now, facing east in this location, off the bat, you would assume has no waterfront views. However, because of the wedge-shaped design and the angle towards the water, we see the angled here. And you see the corner that it creates inside the suite. So the view from this suite would actually be a panoramic view going east all the way to south. And you can see even from this unit, you would see an awful lot of the water. We do the same on the west. And because of this angle, the suite is pointed towards the water. It's got this angle towards the water. And again, it creates this amazing corner in every single unit. The view to the west would look something like this, where you would see water all the way, and you can see all the way to the skyline. It's not just the water views from here that are amazing. This unit is on the northwest corner, and it's a true corner suite, so you can see the glass all the way around. The view from this suite is just absolutely stunning, and it sees the entire skyline. And now, Sunny's going to talk to you guys a little bit about the amazing value.
So here is where we really get excited. We have already talked about the amazing developer, and we have spent some time looking at the world-class redevelopment that is taking place at East Bayfront. None of that is worth a dime if the project don't offer value. So here's a quick look at some of the numbers and the special promotion for the Investor Suite at Monde Condos. For one-day sales event, we have negotiated $35,000 to $45,000 in cash discount, free locker for suite, free assignment clause, all development charges are capped, extended deposit structure payable in 24 months. The suites available at Monde Condos range from 1 bedroom to 2 bedroom and den. Price range from $316,000 to $460,000 for the location. Price per square feet from $480 a foot to an average $558 a foot. Guys, I keep telling everyone there's nothing that exists with this price point in downtown core or at waterfront location. We wanted to hammer just how amazing these prices. So the first thing we did was take a look at the pricing in the projects in the immediate area. In the East Bayfront, there are 2 condominiums that have launched by Tridel. Aquilina was launched last year and is over 90% sold with an average sale price of $689 a foot. Equivista, which was launched to Platinum Broker last week, their prices are approximately $700 a foot with suites as high as $3.1 million. With Monde, $480 per square foot. Looks like a very good deal. Now this tells us few things. Buyers see the potential of this area and are paying the same price as already developed neighborhoods in Toronto because of the proximity to water and the park, and they see this as a long-term potential. The starting price per square foot of $480 a foot and $558 an average is starting to look real attractive. The average price is almost $150 a foot cheaper than Equivista, making virtually incredible value for every suite at Monde. We didn't stop there. A project called Pier 27 launched about 6 years ago. It's a little more centrally located than Monde Condominiums. It's at Yonge and Queens Quay and is in a location that I would consider to be more complete than Monde Condominiums. It has the retail, it has a residential, and it is built up community. If you want a window to the opportunity of this neighborhood, look no further. Remaining suites at Pier 27 average over $1,000 a foot, and that is the price that buyers are willing to pay for prime waterfront location. Compare it with Monde. It's $480 a square foot. It looks like a very good deal. Now let's talk about Humber Bay location now, which is in Etobicoke. We were so convinced that these prices are some of the best we have ever seen, we decided to look at the condos available in the Etobicoke waterfront at Humber Bay Park. Now, before we get into the numbers over there, let's emphasize a couple of things. These condos are not downtown Toronto. These condos have little to no transit support from the downtown core. Many of these condos do not feature the high-end finishes like Monde. None of these are designed by Musi Safdie, one of the best architects on the planet. The Humber Bay Park community was not master planned and lacks a major retail component. However, both share excellent waterfront communities. So let's take a look at three of the latest projects to sell in Humber Bay Park. Riva del Lago by Monarch, it is 50% sold at an average $634 a foot. Ile Soleil Sky Tower by Empire, this project is 84% sold at an average $627 a foot. Ile Soleil Water Towers by Empire, this project is 60% sold at an average $645 a foot.
That 480 per square foot starting price and 558 average price is starting to sound really great right about now. And again, here's the map that highlights the location of Humber Bay and the prices, and compared to the East Bayfront neighborhood where prices start from 480 and average at just 558. So next we're going to take a look at some of the rentability and returns. Now, when it came to the rental numbers, based on similar location projects with inferior finishes and 20-year-old design, projects in that area are renting for around $3 per square foot, which is the number that we used here. So we took a look at the northeast corner suite, which is 908 square feet. It's priced at $430,000. We did a rental amount at 900 square feet at approximately $3 a foot would be $27.25. We calculated the mortgage payments with 20% down would be approximately $14.45. The maintenance fees at 50 cents a foot are $454. The real estate taxes would be calculated at approximately $350 per month, which make the total carrying cost of $22.50. Which makes the monthly cash flow over $400 per month, which is just incredible. Next up, we're going to talk to you about what's happening at the sales event on Saturday, November the 1st. So that is this Saturday. So this is a private event, and we intend to keep it that way. It is very important that we control who's coming in and who's coming out and who has access to this this incentive. This event will be made for webinar attendees only. So you are only able to access this if you are on tonight's webinar. In order to get in, you must email us to RSVP, and we will get back to you with all the instructions with sales location and timing. We will have a guest list at the front, and we will be monitoring that very, very closely. In the next hour, everybody on this webinar will receive the price list and the floor plans and all the information that you need to purchase a condominium at Monde Condominiums. This is a private event, and only those who are RSVP will be allowed to attend. So next up, we're going to be taking some questions. The presentation did run a little bit late, but we'll take about 10 minutes of questions. So use the window there to ask the questions that you have, and we'll do our best to get through as many of them as we can. If we don't get around to your question, we do have a list of the questions that you type, and we will get back to you personally by email. And we'll deal with those on a one-on-one. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to get your questions in, and then we'll start going through them. So the first question that came in is regarding a buyer that's interested in purchasing but is not able to be in Toronto on Saturday, and how those clients will be handled. Now, for clients who are long distance, there are a couple of different options that we have, and we will tackle those on a one-on-one basis. The couple of different options are either if you have a local power of attorney that can sign on your behalf, we can handle it that way. The condominiums can be couriered out to you. and you can sign them and courier them back to us. But we'll handle those on a one-on-one basis and decide which is the best way to handle those files. The next question is about the light rail transit. As of right now, the light rail is approved on the east side, which goes through Queens Quay. With the election yesterday, obviously the transit was a big issue. Now, in terms of timeframes, we do not have an exact timeframe on the light rail and when it will be completed. There's a couple of things that we do want to highlight here. Number one, as it stands right now, there is a number 6 bus that runs to Union Station every 3 minutes. This is that takes over to Union Station, and also in the budget for Monde Condominiums is access to a private shuttle coach. It will be chauffeured, and it will be exclusively for the use of Monde Condominium residents. This shuttle bus will run to and from Monde Condominiums to Union Station for 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon during rush hour times, 5 days a week. The other point we want to make is that this project will be completed in 2018-2019. So what that means is there's a long gap here for that light rail to get started and under construction. So I hope that answers that question. The next question is, have either of you purchased at this condominium personally?
Well, I'm going to answer this question. Yes, it is such a great deal, and I'm always a lookout for great deals. So in this project, my family, they are investing, my very close friends, they are also investing, and I'm also putting my money in this project. We believe in this project, and I think all my investor clients, they are going to do very, very, very well.
Okay. I'm not sure what they wanted to replay one of the slides, but they didn't highlight which slide, so we'll come back to that one. When is the project expected to start construction? The goal is to start construction, start prepping the site in the spring, and they want to start construction in the summer. The next question is, are there any south-facing suites? And the answer to that is yes, they are, but they are not involved in this investor suites package. The south-facing suites available are the penthouse suites and are currently around 1,200 square feet, and the prices on those are over $1 million, which shows you the kinds of suites that people are willing to buy in this neighborhood. For the investor suites here, we are focusing on the investor sweet spot, which is in the low 300s to the mid 400,000 price point.
And you know what? These suites that are facing north or west or northwest or northeast, all of them will have incredible views, either to the water or to the park. They all will have very good views.
Exactly. Let me see here. We're just waiting for a couple more questions to come through. Let's see what we got here. The next question is, which floors are available and what is the premium? Now, following this email, you are going to get a price list and floor plan so that you view all this information. Because the project is 70% sold, we are looking at it. We don't have specific floors that will be available. For certain suites, we will have different suites that have been made available for this promotion. So once you find the suite that you like, it's about getting in touch and saying this is the one that we're interested in. And then on Saturday, we'll be able to say exactly the floors that are available. Okay. The next question is, how much retail space is there, and do we know what there will be? At this point, we do not know exactly what retail will be. However, that is not unusual. Most of the time, retail space is the last piece of the puzzle to go into buildings, and most companies are not negotiating for retail space 4 or 5 years out. There's so many things that can happen in that time for a company. What they've done is that they do have requirements in terms of the quality of retail that they want to bring in. They've developed these 18-foot ceiling requirements to attract certain type of retailers to come into the neighborhood. There will be restaurants, there will be grocery stores, there will be cafes. In terms of the specific ones, that at this time we do not know. Okay, I'm just waiting for a couple more questions to come in. Next question is, what creates the difference in price between a suite that is $480 a foot and to those that are over $500 a foot? Now, the biggest difference is going to be where the suite is located in the building. Lower suites are priced lower and higher suites are priced higher. There is also certain premiums built in if you're, say, on the west side, because you get the premium views of the downtown core, the CN Tower, which you do not see on the other side. So for the most part, the biggest difference in price per square foot is based on the views. The next question is, what are the appreciation numbers? And this is always the million-dollar question.
Well, you know what? I want you to be a judge of this yourself. You're buying a suite that is averaging at about $500 or $558 per square foot, starting from $480 per square foot, and everything in the area is selling for $700 plus a square feet. So you're paying $150 a square feet less than the comparable project in the area, which is Tridal's Equilina and Eco Vista. So $100, $150 a foot. That's the appreciation from day one. That's the money in your pocket from day one.
And I think what's important to notice here is that the quality of the buildings, the quality of the building that they are building at Monde is a luxury level building with the curtain wall design, world-class architecture, and the luxury finishes inside. Okay, so we've got a couple more questions coming through. We're just gonna take one or two more questions, and then we are gonna wrap this up. Like I said, if you have questions, just keep asking them. We do have a list of the questions that are coming in and who's asking them, so we will be able to reach out to you one-on-one after we wrap up. So the final question that we're gonna run through is coming up a lot. Is what is the payment structure for the deposit? So the deposit is 20% payable over 2 years with a final 1% on occupancy in 2019. The way that 20% breaks down, and I don't expect you to have your pen handy and writing this down. This will be on the price sheet that gets emailed out to you. It is $5,000 with the offer. You pay the balance to 5% in 30 days. It will be a further 5% in 4 months, a further 5% in 8 months, and then that final 5% in 2 years' time. So that's 1 month, 4 months, 8 months, and 24 months. So we are going to wrap this call up right now. We want to thank everybody who was able to join us this evening, and we hope to see each and every one of you on Saturday.
Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you this Saturday.
Thanks, guys.